Welcome to the 9th episode of Civics 101. I'm Allison, a current intern at IssueVoter. Throughout the next 14 weeks, we are sharing 3-minute, nonpartisan, accessible explanations of how our government functions, with the belief that civic education strengthens both government accountability and democracy itself. Today we are covering the filibuster. A filibuster is an attempt at blocking or delaying a vote on legislation in the U.S. Senate by prolonging debate to prevent the legislation from moving to a vote. A bill requires a minimum of 51 votes to pass in the Senate. However, before a bill can be voted on, it must pass the debate stage. A filibuster is a tactic that can effectively prevent the Senate from moving forward with legislation unless a cloture motion is successfully invoked to end debate. A talking filibuster is when a Senate keeps a bill under debate indefinitely by standing and talking on the Senate floor for as long as they can. They can use that speech to highlight the parts of the bill they are in opposition to and to propose changes to the bill. A silent filibuster occurs when a group of 41 or more senators threatens to oppose ending debate by voting against cloture. Certain types of legislation and nominations are exempt from the filibuster rule, including budget reconciliation, which only requires a simple majority to pass, and nominations for executive branch positions. Nominations for federal judge positions, including for the Supreme Court, are also exempt from the filibuster rule. The Senate cloture rule is in contrast to procedures in the House of Representatives, which only requires a simple majority to pass most legislation. The term filibuster was first used in the mid-19th century as more senators started using longer speeches to delay votes. In 1841, Senator Henry Clay was the first person to suggest implementing rules to limit debate. In 1917, growing frustrations with the endless debates drove the Senate to establish a cloture rule. The new rule stated that a 2/3 majority vote could end debate. In 1975, the number of votes was reduced to 3/5, or 60 votes out of the 100. The 3/5 rule is what stands today. From its inception, the filibuster has been controversial for a number of reasons. Supporters argue that it promotes moderation and provides necessary checks on majority rule. The need for a supermajority vote requires the majority party to work across the aisle and negotiate with the minority party to get their support. The resulting legislation can be more moderate and more reflective of American voters. Critics counter that the filibuster is inefficient and undermines the democratic process. The filibuster exacerbates the overrepresentation of small states in the Senate. The 21 states with the fewest residents collectively have enough senators to filibuster legislation, despite making up only 11% of the total population. Legislative delays caused by the filibuster have prompted recent presidents to rely more on executive orders for their policy agendas rather than passing legislation through Congress. For further reading, check out our blog article on Medium. Thank you for joining us for the 9th episode of Civics 101. IssueVoter is a nonpartisan platform that makes civic engagement accessible, efficient, and impactful. Visit issuevoter.org to learn more, sign up to stay up to date with legislation, and make your voice heard.